Happy Monday. Oh, that's an oxymoron if I ever heard it. Monday, February 17th, 2025. Welcome to the Scorched Earth Podcast, the political edition. I'm your host, John. And first off, I'd like to remind you to please hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to me. I have a very shallow and thin ego. I need it refortified constantly. You don't want to see me in a mental asylum. You don't want to see me in Arkham Asylum next to the Joker and whoever the next character is in the next Batman movie. And don't be afraid of leaving a comment. You know, I promise I won't tell your family and friends. And believe me, being a subscriber to this show is almost like the Scarlet Letter. It's you're rebels. You really are. We're all rebels. And like I said, here we are. Take no prisoners, tell no lies. We're off on our little podcast for the day, right? So in the aftermath of Valentine's Day, we have a cute little thing from the Trump administration. We all know about President Trump's mass deportation. It's already full speed ahead. Nothing going to slow us down here, like the Constitution or legal rights. And to celebrate this assault on the human soul, the Trump administration that now raids churches and schools, which used to be safe havens. God, there's no safe haven, right? Nothing there. There's just nowhere that inhumanity can reach into. It's really just crazy that the Trump administration thought they'd be cute and witty. Of course, that comes along with their soullessness. And the official White House website Instagram page thought they would celebrate destroying people's lives with a cute little rhyme this weekend. Roses are red, violets are blue, come here illegally, and we'll deport you. All right, there we go. Now, this was met with shock by most of the people who came to the page. They thought it was so outlandish, the inhumanity of that statement, that they thought it wasn't the official page. They thought they were in the wrong place. No, you're in the right place. We're going to get to this soon on the Medicaid issue. But the thing is, and we're really seeing it with the immigration thing. We're going to see it everywhere else too. But people think because they are, quote unquote, voted for Trump, they are Republican, that these people won't come for them. It's kind of like the old saying when they were talking about the Nazis in the 30s and 40s in Europe, and the saying basically goes, they came for the Albanians, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't Albanian. And then they came for the Portuguese, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't Portuguese. And then they came for the Spaniards, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a Spaniard. And then they came for the French, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't French. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to fight for me. Yeah. That's really where we're at. We don't even have actual numbers. I did try and do some research on that for the podcast today. And the White House is doing a really brilliant thing here. Before, Republican and or Democrat, both, would actually report semi-accurately what they were doing when it came to domestic policy. The Trump administration, and I literally looked for 30 minutes today, I don't see any numbers on how many people they are deporting. Now, they could be lying. They could be just laying in the weeds. I really don't know what to think. I mean, I keep thinking they're deporting huge numbers of people, and Elon Musk likes to keep saying they are, but they're not reporting any numbers. And a big part of me is wondering, well, are they trying to do it so they don't get the backlash that they're trying to separate people. I mean, I read stories on Reddit today about how people in Texas are scared to leave their house to go to work because they're afraid of getting scooped up by ICE. I've also read similar stories in the San Joaquin Valley here in California, where there's a huge immigrant population that harvests the food that we eat every day. And, you can't find any numbers. Typically, administrations will give numbers to the press. I'm not seeing any numbers on how many people are getting deported each week. We did see a couple weeks ago, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, that they were using military flights to deport them back to Mexico. Mexico wouldn't take them, so they had to go to Guatemala. They sent some back to Colombia. They sent some back to Venezuela. And, they seem to have come to some agreement in terms of using tariffs as leverage for them to take back these people. And now we're on the precipice, supposedly, of them deporting people who are U.S. citizens who are in jail to put them in Honduran, Guatemalan, and Venezuelan jails. Like, wow. And I thought private prisons sucked. Man, these people are in for a real tough gig. God forbid they're there. They've been convicted wrongfully. The reason I'm against the death penalty. Remember when Illinois got rid of the death penalty because I believe 70% of the people on death row were exonerated through DNA? Oh yeah, if they're on the death row, they've got to have been done something. Yeah, sure. I'm not even going to get into the Lacey Peterson thing tonight. I don't even know what's going on there. I really should add vodka today. Okay, so we're going to start out with our first news story. Saudi Arabia this week is going to host U.S.-Russia talks on Ukraine. I don't even know where we go with this. I literally want to burst out like I have Tourette's. I want to start screaming and yelling and cussing. But super producer Stacy says I got to wait 10 minutes before I start cussing. Where are we at? Okay. So the United Kingdom has said in advance of these talks that it's ready and willing to put troops on the ground in Ukraine. And I'm starting to get a little suspicious what's going on here. A Saudi official told CNN yesterday that they would be doing more than just hosting and would be involved as a mediator. Okay. They're going to be a mediator, huh? Wow. That's interesting. Like, when you have negotiations with another country, what do you need what do you got the mediator? Ukraine isn't even involved. The White House has went back and forth on whether they'll be involved. It seems pretty obvious they're not going to be involved. They're going to be told what's the deal and shut the F up and go accept it. Go accept that you lose 30% of your land. Yeah, all right. The thing I'm wondering is the cast of Law and Order available to mediate? Because it seems like everybody else is except for Ukraine. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Boris Johnson, I miss you already, said on Sunday he was ready and willing to put British troops on the ground to enforce a peace accord. Europe seems to be getting cut out of this whole thing. This seems like the U.S. is cutting it up. I think Trump wants the rich minerals in the eastern province. Russia wants to get out of the war. I personally think, and I've told you this a couple times, I think Joe Biden, I think his true legacy is going to be he destroyed Russia. I think he has destroyed their economy. They are a hollow shell. He has destroyed their military. They have nothing left. Time will tell the tale if I'm right. Believe me, I've been wrong plenty of times. I don't think I'm wrong on this one. I think that country is going to be less than Iran in 5 years. We'll see. So, European leaders are meeting today to discuss the peace accord without the U.S. involved. Of course, this comes on the heels of J.D. Vance last week lambasting the European, countries for what he calls anti-democratic situations. Yeah. It makes me wonder, if the U.S. intervenes and we dice and slice Ukraine up, right? We tell Russia, okay, you did an unwarranted attack. It was a criminal act, a war crime. You invaded a country, a sovereign country. You took land. We're going to let you have the land because, quote unquote, it's in your region. We're going to get a piece of it, right? Trump's going to get something. How are we going to stop China from taking Taiwan? I looked up the numbers, and China has always claimed that Taiwan is their sovereign territory, right? How much, what percent of computer chips do you think come out of Taiwan, that small country? I was surprised. 68% of the world's computer chips come out of Taiwan, mostly through a corporation called TSMC. This is really what shocked me. 90% of the advanced chips come from Taiwan. So if China grabs this little piece of land, you know, a democracy, just like Ukraine was, wow. Wouldn't China have a stranglehold on literally the computer chips of the entire world? Makes me wonder why they haven't done it yet. Maybe they're waiting to see the Ukraine thing get slice and dice, and then they just go in there. You know, Trump is being an isolationist. Is he really going to defend it? Is he going to put troops on the ground to defend Taiwan? I seriously doubt it. You know, this guy really, the only place he's going to put troops is Gaza because he could put up a hotel or a casino, right? He's not going to defend democracy. He's going to defend his pocketbook because that's all the F he cares about, is how he can enrich himself in the next 3.5 years before him and his fat ass get out of the White House, right? You know, unless the Supreme Court says he can run for another term. All right. So now we got the House GOP. It's putting together its final budget to put out there. They really want the $4.5 trillion tax cuts for the rich. So where are they going to come up with this money? They have to come up with $2 trillion in cuts. Interesting. So the GOP in the preliminary budget just came out of committee has put social services as the first thing to cut. And they got Medicaid and SNAP in the crosshairs. Now, the thing is, this is what government does to you. They slice and dice us, right? They want us to fight among ourselves. They don't want us to hate the power structure. They don't want us to get angry at the elites. They want me to look over and say it's the brown man's fault. He wants to look over and say it's the white man's fault. I want to look over there and say it's the Asian's fault or the black guy's fault or, you know, whatever it is, right? They don't want us to be unified at all. They want to slice and dice us and make us fight among ourselves. I mean, it's like an episode of Planet of the Apes, right? And so the person they're going to go after, now think about this. Think about the brilliance of what they're doing. They want us to go after the poor because who's going to defend the poor? Because then everybody's going to look at you like, well, you're poor, right? Nobody wants that stigma. Nobody wants that scarlet letter. Even if we are poor, nobody wants to go out in society and go, hey, I'm poor. I'm getting run over, unless you really are getting run over. And I have friends who they have financial struggles, right? We all do. I mean, you know, everybody does. I don't care. You know, I don't really even know what middle class is or poor is or whatever. But you know what? I'm telling you right effing now, the government needs to help our people instead of the rich people. What does it matter if Jeff Bezos puts another $30 billion in his bank account? Is that helping anybody in this country? No, not helping anybody. You know, for that $2 trillion, they could pay for health care in this country for 100 years. Wow. Yeah. Right? There we go. Health care for everybody. Okay? I mean, you know, I'm looking at the numbers. Bernie Sanders says that for $20 billion, we could have health care for everybody. Yeah. Okay. There we go. $2 trillion. Yeah. So The GOP, in preliminary statements, is asking for more robust eligibility requirements. That's code for work requirement, right? It gets a little cuter here. Also, lifetime caps on how much aid people can receive. Economist Dean Baker saw the proposal and said they want a 20% cut in Medicaid. All right. Now, they're looking at somewhere between $60 and $80 billion. A lot of money, no doubt about it. He also said that they're going to put new restrictions on eligibility and that he believes their goal is to push 20% of the people currently on Medicaid out of Medicaid. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Here's an interesting fact that I don't know. Well, I didn't know until I did research for this segment. 79 million people in America receive Medicaid in some form. 20 million of those people are elderly. This is from the BBC. Okay. Wow. That's a heck of a number, huh? Especially for the elderly. Wow. That's a lot. So we're going to push 20% of those off. Instead of, let's just call it 80 million, we're going to have 64 million. Wow. 16 million people don't need Medicaid, huh? I was having a discussion with a lady yesterday, and she's a Republican. And she's a couple years away from Social Security. She's a little youngin', but, you know, it's coming. It's coming. And I said, do you realize that they want to cut the Medicaid that... It's a long story. We're not going to get in. She's middle class. She has a beautiful grandson. He receives some Medicaid benefits. His dad passed away. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into it here. But I said, do you realize they're coming to take his benefits? And she goes, I don't believe that. And then I said, do you know they're coming to take... They're gonna give you a haircut on your Social Security. And she said, I don't believe that either. And I realized in that moment that it's just like the immigration thing, that people who voted for Trump think he is not coming for them. That there is going to be some type of delineation of, well, they voted Republican, Sam, you know what? We're not going to cut their stuff, you know? And there's not going to be any discrimination. They're going to F everybody. And when they do, it's going to be too late. Like the story, you know, when they came for me, there was no one to say anything. And then they're going to hope the Democrats can save them out. And I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. I want the Democrats to do the right thing because that's what they stand for. But part of me says, just burn it down, man. Just let's just get 20 years of Democratic rule, because that's what we're going to get. And mark my words, in 4 years, Trump's ratings when he leaves office are going to be in the 20%. We're going to have the House. We're going to have the Senate. We're going to have it all. You just mark my words on that. That's what's coming. Now they're also looking to cut SNAP, which is a program that affects anywhere between 25 and 40 million people in the United States. SNAP is a supplemental nutrition assistance program. They're looking to make drastic cuts to that. You know, we live in the richest country in the world, and people have to go to sleep hungry at night. How effing disgusting. I'm waiting on the 10 minutes, Stacy. I'm waiting on the 10 minutes. How effing disgusting is that? That we live in this country, and that people who call themselves Christians, people who supposedly live by the law of Jesus, by the rule of Jesus, by the Bible of Jesus, say, yeah, you can go to bed hungry at night. Because it's just not a priority for our country. Because we got to build another bomber. Because we got to build another warship. Yeah. Let's see the cuts in the Defense Department. I really am looking forward to that. The budget. Almost $900 million. Let's just call it $1 trillion. You know, what's $100 billion among friends, right? Let's see how much gets cut there. Yeah, right. Not an effing cent. They're going to get an increase. You and I both know it. All right. I'm going to do something a little lighter today. Last story before we go to the odd news. There's a problem up in Canada. It's called super pigs. Yeah. Believe me. You want to talk about super pigs? Go to a bar about 1 o'clock in the morning. There's plenty of super pigs, male and female. Trust me. You go home with the super pig, you get infected, you're never the same. That's why I don't go to bars. And these are pigs that have been specifically crossbred, wild boars deliberately bred with domestic pigs. I don't know who came up with this idea, but obviously he got a very big job in the Trump administration later. So it is the exact same thing when you have Republicans breeding with Nazis. Okay? Sorry, did I say that? Yeah, I did. Thanks. There's a huge worry in the agricultural circles that they're going to cross the U.S.-Canada border. A majority of them are in Canada, and I thought we just had to worry about fentanyl coming across the border. Well, now we got to worry about super pigs, right? Dr. Ryan Brook, a Canadian professor of agricultural resources, said they reproduce faster than you can shoot them. All right, here we go, baby. He says they'll eat anything to survive. Didn't we see that in one of those Hannibal movies where he fed one of those people to the pigs? They just yum, 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 yum. You know? It's like, sometimes they just eat and they just have no recourse. Yeah. I'll tell you something. My dad, God bless him. I love him. He's afflicted with Alzheimer's. Okay. But there's special moments that make you so happy. And every time we go out to eat, I say, Dad, are you hungry? He goes, no, not hungry. And I am telling you, when his food comes, your fingers better not be anywhere near his plate because he ain't messing around. He is going to finish his food. He's going to eat it. And I swear to God, I'm thankfully in a public place, he doesn't lick the plate. I mean, literally, that plate is cleaner than when it came out of the dishwasher. You know, that's like what I'm not comparing my dad to Super Pig, okay? I'm not, okay? I still want to get a Christmas gift from him. But what I'm saying is these things are just ravenous. They just don't say no. They will literally, there's animals that will eat until they explode. I had a cat like that once. And a dog. Wild pigs currently cause around $2.5 billion in crop damage in the United States each year. Wow. That's crazy, right? I wonder if we can deport these super pigs and blame it on the Mexicans. Do you think that we could do that? We'll have to get the Trump administration on that. Actually, in 2019, in West Texas, a woman was killed by the wild pigs. So, you know what we really ought to say is, as Democrats, we ought to just lie like the Republicans and just call it 1,000 people. But, why be accurate? We live in the age of disinformation. You know, it is funny. I don't hear the word fake news anymore. Wonder why. It's because all the legitimate news organizations are performing oral sex on Trump and his administration, and nobody's asking the tough questions. I look at the New York Times and I want to vomit. Let's move on, John. Thank you. I think I will. All right, news of the day, odd news of the day. Democratic members of Congress were denied entry to the Department of Education this weekend, even when they had a meeting with Acting Secretary Denise Carter. All right. So we got a meeting with her. Obviously, the administration doesn't have enough to be able to give them clearance at the door. How crazy is it when a member of Congress, an acting member of Congress, can't get into a scheduled meeting with a cabinet? Like, wow. I saw something this weekend. We did the story a couple days ago about them firing all the nuclear workers. And then the next day, or 2 days later, they realized, oh my God, we just thought we were cutting Department of Energy. We didn't know we were affecting the security of nuclear weapons. And they tried to get them back, and they don't have their contact numbers. That can't be true. The Trump administration couldn't be that incompetent. And we chuckle, for we know it's true. All right. Next, so many people were leaving 1-star reviews on the Google reconfiguration of Gulf of America on Google Maps that Google blocked them and their reviews and deleted the 1-star reviews. And they only kept 4- and 5-star reviews. Yeah. Google, just go a little deeper, man. Just go a little deeper. God. How childish is this? How childish. I'm telling you, I am the only person in the world who's telling you this. The American Ocean. Forget Atlantic. It's the American Ocean. Okay? Finally. No, we got 2 more stories. Seems like there was a little outbreak of measles in the last couple weeks in West Texas. Doubled the number of cases to 48. You know, I'm telling you, measles, polio, smallpox, they're cheering for RFK. You know, don't worry. Got another pandemic. Got another outbreak. I was really cute the other day when Trump doubted that Mitch McConnell actually had polio. Yeah. Okay. Like somebody's making that up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. And finally, commemorate one of the greatest shows on TV. SNL had their 50th anniversary yesterday. Stars came out. I was stunned at one thing. I saw Eddie Murphy. It was just star after star. Adam Sandler was incredible, came back. Meryl Streep made her debut on SNL. That shocked me. New York actress, literally one of the biggest actresses in the world for 45 years, an icon, and she never hosted Saturday Night Live or was even on it for a skit. It really, really surprised me. She was in a skit with Kate McKinnon. I loved Kate McKinnon. She's just fabulous. I mean, they all are, right? I mean, some are a little more endearing than others, but you know, what a great show that's been. It started out like a rocket ship, had a couple of bad years. Eddie Murphy kind of brought him back. It was nice to see Eddie Murphy. He left Saturday Night Live to obviously pursue his movie career. And then David Spade on Weekend Update made a joke about, oh, look, kids, it's a falling star. And then they showed a picture of Eddie Murphy. And he was a little angry about it, and he decided never to come back. I think he came back about a year ago for a cameo and hosting. But obviously he's got some hard feelings there. Justifiably so, I think. But it was a wonderful, wonderful show. And I hope they make it to 100. We will see. Lorne Michaels is a genius. I don't like Jimmy Fallon, but hey, you can't hit them all. You can't hit a home run every time. All right, that's the show for today. We will be back tomorrow. If you could, please kindly hit the like, hit the subscribe button, leave some comments. I love you all, and you have a safe day.